to Streams of Income. Hosted by best-selling author and entrepreneur, Dr. David Powers, where we discuss streams of income, passive income, residual income, and even why there are dinosaurs and zombies in this intro. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready to dive in.
Hey guys, welcome to the first ever episode of season 2 of the Streams of Income podcast. Now, I just wanted to give you a quick intro to the podcast before I get into the meat of this lesson, which is actually a Zoom call interview that I did with Ryan Reger. Now, Ryan Reger, if you don't know him, you need to. He founded the Streams of Income brand. He started this whole thing. He wrote the original book. And season 1 of the podcast, he's moved on to a new thing called Unleashed. And what you're getting ready to see is me on one of the calls for his Unleashed group. It's a pretty amazing group, and so be sure to check him out. I'm going to throw some info into the show notes if you want to check him out. As far as what Unleashed is, it's helping Christians thrive both in business and in life, and just unleashing believers. That's what Ryan kind of thinks of it as, and it's pretty amazing. And the way, the way I look at it in terms of money and budgeting, things like that, if you want to find a way to get the absolute best coach possible, to get some community where you get to talk to other believers who are in business, in W-2 jobs, spread out all over the spectrum, and almost get one-on-one coaching with Ryan, who is a mastermind with businesses, you got to check him out. So let me tell you a little bit about why I'm doing this now. Why is Dr. Dave doing season 2 of Streams of Income? Well, Ryan started this whole thing, and when it got to a certain point, I mean, season 1 is part of the Unleashed podcast system. If you want to be sure to check out some of those original Streams of Income podcasts. You can find those on Ryan's Unleashed, and I'm on several of them. I've been several times as a guest on Ryan's podcast, but he wanted to move on. He felt God calling him to move on to something different, and so that's what Unleashed is. And Ryan, he took a sabbatical for a while, and he was praying and talking to God and thinking and just doing whatever he could to figure out what he wanted to do next, what God wanted him to do next, what's best for his family, and he came upon the Unleashed idea. But he had this amazing Streams of Income brand, and he didn't just want to drop it. He did not want to just let it die. And about that time, I mean, I stayed in contact with him the whole time. I tried not to bother him much when he was on his sabbatical because, man, he needed to get away, and I didn't want to bother him much. But about the time he was ready to come back and launch Unleashed into the world, I went back to him and I said, so what are your plans for Streams of Income? What are you thinking about doing with that? Because, I mean, I wouldn't mind co-hosting it with you or something and just being on there a bunch. And you know what? It had to be a God thing because, man, I love Ryan and he's a great friend, but the gift that he blessed me with here is amazing. And it had to be a God thing. God telling him, look, Ryan, it's time to pass it on. I think Dr. Dave's the guy. And so Ryan has given me Streams of Income. And so I'm running the Facebook group. I just finished rewriting the book and releasing that, the second edition. And now here I am, the first episode. I'm calling it season 2 of Streams of Income because I want to pay homage to what Ryan did. I mean, 200-300 episodes, something like that he did on the Streams of Income podcast. And so this is the first episode of season 2. And I thought it would be fitting to actually have Ryan and his new crew from Unleashed be the episode. And so what you're getting ready to see, if you're watching the YouTube version or here, is actually a group Zoom call where Ryan had some guys on there, and he wanted me to talk about streams of income, passive income, and take some questions. Now, here's the funny thing. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do a conclusion at the end of this. I want to tell you something really funny because I want to see if you notice it during the podcast. Something a little weird, something a little off with me. So just, make your guesses, write them down, whatever. And at the end, I'll give you an explanation to what was really off with me and what was going wrong there.
When it comes to passive income, there are so many different options. It really just depends on, your needs. Do you need to make money now? Can it be a slower build? Do you have money to invest? No money to invest? Either one's fine. Just changes what's available. And So Dr. David and I met through, I think first Dan Miller and his
Yeah.
community, and then got to meet him for the first time through a good friend of ours named Kent Julian, who does speaking. That's another thing, guys. By the way, just that's the benefit of a group like this is that if any of you are like, hey, you know what, I want to be a public speaker, want to go get speaking gigs, I got people that can help you do that. And we could easily bring Kent in. He would love to be a part of a group like this and come talk to you guys about what it looks like to go out and speak. And that's really one of the best ways to build a business is speaking, whether that's out offline, like out in front of, like Kent does associations and he speaks at conferences all the time, or even online, like doing webinars and doing online things for like even a podcast as an example. But Kent is a master at getting speaking opportunities, especially offline, in front of large groups. So he's got a whole method for that. So he and I, David and I met through Kent Julian's mastermind. It was not necessarily about speaking; it was just bringing entrepreneurs together. And I got to know him, and now he and I are really good friends. So you guys know that I had a podcast called Streams of Income for 5 years, and was wrestling what to do with that because I felt the Lord leading me in this new direction. And but I didn't want to let that all that streams of income stuff just die. I felt like there's just a lot of people out there that still need this, and I'm still going to talk about it. But the streams of income brand, I didn't know what to do with it. So I prayed about it, and Lord brought David to mind, and his desire. He already has a member, he already has a branding called Multiverse Streams of Income. So it was perfectly in line. He was already out there talking about different ways to make money online. He pretty much runs a membership community that I helped start called Passive Income Engines. And he's perfect guy to take on the Streams of Income brand. So he has already taken my book, Streams of Income, added to it, made it way better than before. And he took over a Facebook group that I had that I was doing nothing with. And he's starting to get leads almost every single day. I see new leads coming into that group because of what he's posting. Another off thing, just another tangent. If you're looking to build an audience online, having a free Facebook group is a great way to get leads because Facebook will drop leads right into your lap. You don't have to do this, but it's just a way to get free leads. So if you are looking to build a business around a certain niche and you want to build an audience, think about starting a Facebook group around that topic and just start posting really good content. And what happens is and invite all of us to come in and we'll help. We'll help. I mean, that's how we can help each other. So, like Dr. David has Streams of Income now. And so we all joined that. Let's say it was brand new. He was just trying to kick it off. We all come in there and engage with the content. Facebook's going to see that as like, wow, this group's really, really happening. There's things going on here. And what's happening now is literally Facebook is suggesting people. So as people are going online looking for income opportunities or typing in that keyword or various keywords surrounding income into Facebook groups, it's pulling up the Streams of Income group that I created several years ago that Dr. David now runs. And literally people are asking to join. And the power of that is he's got questions set up at the beginning of the group. One of them is, do you want this free book, which is the one he just updated for him, and it bringing in leads into his email list every single day, and Facebook's doing it for him for free. So that's a powerful start. We could always dive deep into that if that's a strategy that any of you guys want to talk about or think about or want to know more about. So all to say is he took over the Streams of Income brand. He's a perfect guy to do it. He has a passion for it. He loves helping people create streams of income. So he's here to talk to us about that. Now, Dr. David, I know you're doing this for your podcast as well, which you started a new podcast called Streams of Income. He took over the brand. Is there
going to be season 2.
You want me to do this that lends well to you using this as a recording?
Oh, no. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Just like a group interview kind of a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, he lives in South Carolina. He lives on a farm. He and his wife homeschool their kids. It's so cool, some of the stuff he does. I hope he'll talk about it. But one of the most fascinating ways he makes money is user-generated content videos. So we'll get into that because that might be a fit for some of you that are interested. But I guess David, why don't you just tell a little bit about your story? And guys, feel free to post questions in the chat and I'll ask him. Or if we have a point in the conversation, we can just have you just unmute and ask him because I want to make this as interactive as possible. And I want you guys to be thinking about yourself, obviously. What are things that come to mind for you for passive income? Because there's a small enough group here that we could even, like, hey, Cynthia, for example, we could almost like drill down to you, for example, and but maybe able to go around the room, depending on who's interested, and just do a little brainstorm on what might be a fit for you. Because he literally almost has like a whole library of potential options to pull from that we can help see might be a fit for you. So, well, I guess why don't you tell your story and we'll start talking about passive income.
Okay. I usually tell everybody I'm 49 now, and since I was 17, I've been in jobs where people shot at me. Went in the military straight out of high school and went into disaster management. And so when 9/11 happened, I was part of the crew that started the Department of Homeland Security. And so we actually started that whole department. And I used to respond to disasters and set up field hospitals, during hurricanes, terrorist attacks, things like that. And you know, now I've got 5 kids, and I like being home more. Before I didn't mind deploying all the time, I didn't mind being on the road all the time, but I like to be home with my kids now, and so I like creating all these streams of income that some of them are passive, some of them are recurring. I'm very curious. I have a curious nature, and so some of these, I try to not get people to jump at every shiny penny of streams of income. But what I like to do is try the ones that seem interesting, but also be quick to drop it if I need to. And so I'll mention a bunch of stuff tonight, but as I mentioned them, if you want to ask questions later, or if you want to stop me in the middle and I can talk more about a certain one that maybe piques everybody's interest. And like Ryan said, if we get towards the end and we've got time, if anybody has any specific questions, we can brainstorm whatever. And I see a couple of these guys are from South Carolina. I'm up in the upstate in Liberty. And so I've got a little. We actually I had 5 kids, and so we were living in a warehouse in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where I grew up. And so the neat thing about that is the warehouse was free. My dad owned it. It was part of his construction business. And so we lived there rent free doing the Dave Ramsey thing. And then COVID hit, and I was doing construction sales for him. He has a general contracting firm. So I was doing sales during COVID, and construction boomed. And so I made 6 figures that year just doing sales commissions and saved enough money to buy this farm up here. And the great thing is, though, right before we decided to move, the fire department found out we were living in this warehouse illegally and said, "You guys got to go." And so it was, I always look at it as it's God's way that he moved us out. And we found this place up here, and I've got 5 acres right off a dirt road, friendly redneck neighbors that, the kind that we all look out for each other. And, if somebody strange drives up the road, we're calling the phone line to see who's coming, that kind of thing. And so, I've got a home office here in my walkout basement, and I love getting into stuff, just whatever I can do. Earlier today, I was recording a podcast for Streams of Income that Ryan was talking about. And I kind of think of it, Ryan, as season 2, Streams of Income.
It is, yes.
I reference back a lot to season 1, hosted by Ryan Reger. And it's a lot of fun. But, okay, so I wanted to pull up a screenshot. Since I research a lot with Streams of Income, it pops up in my Google feed a lot. And so this was from Forbes magazine. What is passive income? And said, although it requires effort to establish, once set up, it's money earned with little or no effort. So hardly anything is truly passive. There are a lot of things where you can get it started, kick it off, like pushing a snowball down the hill, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh yeah, John, I'm not showing. It's just on my phone. I just screenshot the article while I was reading it. But unlike active income, which requires continuous work, passive income streams can continue to generate revenue over time without your direct involvement. So that's just, a common sense idea of it. But here's the scary part. We think nowadays a lot of people would know what passive income is, or know opportunities, or maybe even sometimes we think we're behind the 8 ball and it's too late for us to get into all this because everybody else is already doing it. Well, here's a recent article from the Motley Fool, which if you're familiar with that, they're a huge stock reporting company that
big media company, they report on stocks, give tips, that kind of thing. They had an article on passive income, and the biggest thing they mentioned was CDs at the bank. And to me, that's like 1980s passive income. I mean, that's what I was doing when I was a teenager. How many of y'all are old enough to have had a passbook savings account where you actually took your little passbook, almost like a passport-sized book? You took it into the bank every time you wanted to deposit money. And from there, as I matured, I grew up to I bought 12-month CDs. And you might buy a 12-month CD for $100, and at the end of 12 months, you've got $100.10. And that's how good the rate was. And so I don't know why Motley Fool was talking about that for passive income in the 2000s. It just didn't make sense to me. So, all right. So one of my favorites, and well, I guess I should caveat, I'm not an accountant, not a financial advisor, not a real estate agent, none of that. Just a multipreneur, an entrepreneur trying everything to see what fits and to see what God has planned for me. So cryptocurrency is one of the areas where I dig into. And it is very risky. First thing I tell people when I mention crypto, and I see Jeff's in here. Me and Jeff are friends from a group that has done a lot of crypto stuff in the past. And I always tell everybody anything with crypto, it's like gambling. And if you put your money into it and you wake up the next morning and there's still some money in there, be happy. So that's what crypto is. But as far as passive income, one of the things I do with crypto that it feels a lot safer for me is called HODL, HODL, and it basically just stands for hold on for dear life. And so I buy what I consider blue chip tokens, like crypto tokens that they run the backbones of the cryptocurrency market. And so we're talking Bitcoin, Solana, Matic, things like that. And some of y'all are probably familiar with these. But I don't buy, if I'm wanting to play it safe, I don't buy things like that Dogecoin that Elon Musk talks about every now and then. There's basically a coin out there named after every celebrity there is. There's probably a Snoop Dogg coin. Matter of fact, there is a Shiba Inu. It's another dog coin. And I think Snoop has actually talked about that one before, and it always jumps in value when he talks about it, and then it sinks back down again real quick. And so that stuff is risky. And so when I hodl cryptocurrency, I actually do it as a dollar cost averaging, where I have a certain amount that gets bought every week in Bitcoin and in some of these other coins, and I don't touch it. I look at it once a month, unless something's happening and I'm just curious. I look at it once a month. And the thing about Bitcoin is, let's say I bought $1,000 2 years ago, it's worth 3 or 4,000 now. And to me, that's passive income. But let's say that 1,000 went up to 5,000. It jumped up. Well, the next day it may be at 4,000, and you think, oh no, I've lost money, but you haven't. You've made a lot more than that 1,000 that you started with. So that's up and down passive income, but it's one that I like, but because I like I treat it like a game. I would not do crypto unless it was extra play money. And so for me, it's like a video game. I just watch it go up and down, and I keep making a little bit at a time. And I think it's going to keep going up, though. In terms of crypto, another thing that I get into is called yield farming. And I don't do this. I've got friends that do this. And so what I do is invest in them. With yield farming, it's kind of like day trading the stock market, but with crypto. And I've got some friends that, man, they've got time to delve into that stuff and sit and do the day trading type lifestyle. And so what they do is they sell these NFTs. An NFT is kind of like if you're not familiar, it's a digital image that it has revenue backing. So in other words, when I buy this digital image, this NFT, it invests the money that I paid for the NFT into these yield farms. And so it's really easy to do. And there's no, if you're not familiar with cryptocurrency, there's no easy way to explain it. Dave Ramsey always says, don't invest in things that you can't explain or you don't understand. And I'm not doing the Dave Ramsey thing on that. So if you have a lot of questions about some of that stuff, I cannot explain how it works. But with yield farming, I know that my buddy Chris that runs a yield farming program, yield farming co-op, he calls it. He has been making money in up markets, down markets. He's figured out ways that it auto corrects on the investments he makes. And so Right now, I've probably got a couple thousand invested in NFTs, and I'm getting return on investment pretty quick on that. And so that's passive for me because Chris is doing all the work, and all I had to do was buy the NFT. And so I love that aspect of yield farming. I just put some money in, I throw some money in the bank, and the bank throws money back at me, and I don't have to do anything for it. Let's see. The next thing on my list, if how many of y'all live in like rural? Rural. That sounded awfully like my accent. When I get allergies, my accent comes out more. But how many of you live out in the country? I do. I'm 15 minutes from the nearest town. How many of you just live in towns or suburban? Okay, the majority there. John Davis lives in the cornfields an hour west of Chicago. Yeah, Illinois is interesting because you get out of the city real quick and you are in the cornfields. And like all of a sudden, it's Chicago downtown. Next thing you know, you're surrounded by the children of the corn, and so it's kind of crazy.
Like your doll behind you.
John's surrounded by a brick wall. But real farming. So I mentioned yield farming, but real farming is something I do, but I don't do it in the traditional way. Let's see, you get a couple questions, or let me answer this NFT question real quick before we move on to something else. Reggie asked, is there a typical cost for an NFT? Are they priced across a large range like stocks? They are. They're priced across a large range. And the thing about NFTs is there's two main different kinds of NFTs. One kind is the kind that you hear about on the news all the time. It's basically just digital artwork. Somebody is selling a drawing, a painting, and something like that, and people will spend millions on it sometimes and hope it keeps its value, goes up in value. And that stuff, that market has fallen apart several times, up and down. The NFTs I'm talking about are called utility NFTs. And so the NFT represents your investment. It's not just a one-time purchase that you hang on your digital wall, so to speak. But as far as real farming, I don't have any crops other than my own garden. We grow our own family food. And but this farmland that I moved into, there's some nut trees here. We've got some other stuff growing here that we could, like sassafras, things that we could pull in. But here's the thing about farming, and that I like about for residual income, passive income, is that you may not realize it, but you could get a farm number, and basically you're classified by the USDA as a legitimate farm for growing almost anything. You could almost get a farm number if you write it up right for thinking about growing something. And the thing about farm numbers is here's one thing I like to do that I consider passive income, that it's not traditional passive income, but when I can pass risk or save money in big ways by doing one thing, I consider that a big savings, and I kind of look at that as income. So I got a farm number when we first moved here, and so I can vote on the local farm commissioners, that kind of thing, but it opens me up to grants that nobody else can get. I can get first-time farmer grants. I can get veteran grants. If I put part of the farm in my wife's name, her as the owner-operator, we can get minority women-owned farm grants. And here's the great thing for me is I operate a Hipcamp off of this farm here. We've got a haunted barn on the property. And Hipcamp, if you're not familiar with it, it's like Airbnb for tents. And so I've got a haunted barn. We don't use the barn for anything, but part of it, I've got a big weight room in it. But I've got a tent site under the barn patio. And there's a lot of haunted stories about this area. And somebody was actually murdered in my basement, just right over there, right beside where my bed's at. And so there's some pretty cool haunted stories about this place. Yeah, Skinwalker Ranch. My kids, John mentioned the Skinwalkers. My kids actually will play jokes on people that stay here on the haunted farm. And one of the value added things I offer when they book a tent site here on my farm is I'll take them on a nighttime hike. And I've got this thing called an Aztec death whistle. And so it's just this big whistle. And when you blow it, it sounds like somebody screaming. And it's kind of spooky because I'll go out there and take these people out and I'll say, all right, we're going to get real quiet. And then you start hearing the bugs. And then I'll tell them I'm going to blow this thing. And even when you know it, even when you're the one blowing that whistle, when you're out there in the middle of the dark, flashlights off and everything, it's spooky to everybody. And so I love doing that. And the guests love it too. We've gotten some really good reviews on the Hipcamp. But here's the part where getting the farm number saved me a lot of money. Is the almost every state has an agritourism department, and part of the agritourism department is you get these signs that say any activity on this farm that you can do is inherently dangerous, and we are not responsible, and you cannot sue us for anything that happens to you on this farm. And so I've got insurance coming out the wazoo for just having a hip camp. Hip camp has insurance. I've got basically a you can't sue me policy from the state of South Carolina because of the tourism, the farm number. And so that's one of the things I like to do. So if you're ever thinking about anything to do on your land, whether it's Airbnb, hip camp, doing classes, like Ryan, our old friend Dan Miller, who passed away last year, used to do events at his place in Tennessee. And Dan was always the kind of person that just did things and just figured nobody's ever going to sue me because everybody in the world's kind. And I'm a little more pessimistic than that. And so I am covered for doing classes here, doing all kinds of stuff, UGC videos, whatever I do here. I've got so much insurance that I don't have to pay for. And so I kind of consider that passive income because it's saving me a ton of money. Let's see. Kirsten is saying, not sure we have grants like that in New Zealand. Okay. The large farms are being taken over for pine tree plantations. Yeah, that's in my area, not so much, but Midwest, Iowa, places like that, in America, the farms are being taken over by huge corporations. And small time farmers are getting pushed out. And so I love working with farmers though to look at different streams of income, things like value added, like if you have bees and generate honey, you can add things to the honey, like peppers and make spicy honey, that kind of thing. Mike says, I've been thinking about processing classes of turkeys around Thanksgiving, and then they take their bird home. Oh, that would be cool. A neighbor of mine's got a bunch of ducks and turkeys and things. And great thing, we don't have chickens yet. We're going to, but we don't have chickens yet because I got 5 kids to feed. So we need some eggs. But my neighbor that's got all those birds, they give us eggs all the time. But as far as the farm number, like I said, if you even think about farming, you can apply for a farm number and it'll help you. And, the only thing I've actually sold farm wise, I mean, the hip camp, I don't really consider that farming, but I've sold rabbit poop. Does anybody in there have rabbits? Nobody's got rabbits. Oh, rabbit poop is, let's see, business opportunity. We don't have the chickens yet.com. John, I may hop on here and buy that domain while we're talking. But rabbit poop is one of the cleanest, most perfect fertilizers you can have. You can almost eat it. Not that I'm going to, but it comes out clean. You can drop it straight on the plants. You don't have to process it, anything. And it's just dry pellets. I mean, it's kind of gross to handle with your hands, that kind of thing. But I've got one rabbit, and the only reason we've got a rabbit is because my son bought it at a flea market without asking me, and we didn't want to kill it. So we've got one rabbit. And we bag the rabbit poop. What we don't use in our garden, we sell. And maybe that's a little bit of passive income because all I do is feed him, and he generates more than I feed him. Mike is asking, yeah, the farm number is through your local USDA. And so wherever you are, just plug in, like you do a Google search on your county and USDA, and it'll pull up the nearest USDA office. And so that there should be instructions on their website how to apply for a farm number. It's really easy. Basically, all I did was tell them, hey, I want to get a farm number. They sent me an application. I filled it out, sent it in. A couple of weeks later, they sent me, aerial maps of my farm with all kinds of details, like how much crop acreage I had and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And some of the opportunities I've had because of that farm number, about a month ago, I went to a Frontline to Farm Veterans Conference. It completely paid for through grants, and I spent a week at Appalachian State University, and we toured all these different farms. And man, the streams of income these people were doing is pretty amazing. We went to creameries, beef farms, chicken farms. I mean, all kinds of. We even toured a ginseng farm, and this guy had a hillside, maybe no more than a couple acres, and he said he had several $100,000 worth of ginseng plants on that little hillside. And he's making a ton of money just farming ginseng. Now, the crazy thing about things like ginseng, though, is it's worth so much money that you have to guard it, and usually with guns. And he's had to shoot at people that would come in and take his plants and things like that. So depending on what kind of farming and depending on where you are, there's certain things that might be legal that aren't legal here in South Carolina. And if you know what I'm talking about, some of those things I'm perfectly okay with on a medicinal basis if it's prescribed. But I have actually invested in some of that with stocks because that's an amazing field. And once some of that is legalized for medicinal, it's going to skyrocket. Just a lot of weird things about that right now. Real estate. Anybody here into real estate? I am into real estate only passively, I guess I would say. I don't own any houses. I don't own any physical property other than what I live on. And so what I have done until I get enough money and find the right place that I want to buy and do for a rental property, probably going to be single family housing to start out with. But what I do is I invest in sites like Lofty, lofty.com. There's another one called Fundrise.com. And I like those two websites. Those are two of my favorites. There's a bunch of them, but those are two of my favorites because it's a very low minimum amount to invest. I think Lofty was about $50 and Fundrise, I think, was 25. But return on investment was pretty quick. And what I did on Lofty, I actually, when you get on there, you put money into an account. You can search through all these houses and properties and even commercial properties that are listed on the website. And you say, I want to invest in that one. And so you can invest close to home. You can invest maybe somewhere you want to visit someday. And what I did, though, was I selected some of the properties they have that were run by Superhost Airbnb people. And because the value has gone up quicker. And so the first one I did was a big condo in Atlanta. And so that's only a couple hours from me. So it's actually a place I might be able to drive by one day or even stay at. And the value on that has gone up quite a bit. And so that just helps me get paid back faster. And yeah, so that's a fun one for me. Cynthia's asking if that's for U.S. only. You know what? I don't really know that for sure. I think both of them are actually based out of Atlanta. You'll have to check that, Cynthia. To be honest with you, sometimes a lot of these you won't know until you try to invest into the platform because there are some things I've tried to invest in before that for some reason weren't legal in South Carolina. And I've got some friends in Texas. Texas seems to be even tighter on some of that stuff. It just depends on the state. And Bill says he's got an investment on Fundrise. I've been pretty pleased with that one. On Lofty, you select individual houses. On Fundrise, you kind of invest in accounts. And so I've got some in both because I like comparing to see how they do. Let's see. Here's a weird one that a lot of people don't think of for passive income, but tax deductions. Now, before I go into that any further, I'm not an accountant or a bookkeeper or a financial advisor, any of that again. But are there any accountants in the group? Okay, so I'm going to say something that if there was an accountant in the group, they might get mad. But I heard that this was repeated. This is repeated from something I heard a bookkeeper say. And this has been my experience with CPAs as well, because I've had to deal with them with other businesses, is that for the most part, accountants and CPAs are IRS interventionists, so to speak. They are basically people that enforce the rules of the IRS. They help you as a business stay within the rules. You're going to be hard pressed to find a CPA or an accountant a lot of times that will help you look for deductions, help you look for ways to save your money. Most of the time, they just want to follow the rules. And there are so many rules to follow. It is crazy. Ryan's saying he said a quick Google search looks like Fundrise is only for US, but Lofty might be open for you in Canada. And which one of you was in New Zealand again? I'm not sure if it would be. Okay, Kirsten. I'm not sure if it would be open across the big pond there, but you'll have to check that out and see. Maybe if it's open to you, there might even be some places over in New Zealand. Who knows? But tax deductions. I try to do a lot of things that I can deduct. And like what I do mainly with all this multiple streams of income, all this investing, all the writing that I do, all my streams of income, I call it all a lifestyle business. And so basically, I don't stretch it too far, but basically everything I do is tax deductible in some way. Like I do UGC videos. Ryan mentioned that. And basically, that's user-generated content. When you see those selfie-style ads on social media, that is user-generated content. They're meant to look like a customer's giving a testimonial, something like that. But those are actually paid actors, and a lot of times that's me. I've kind of built a really good niche around the middle-aged blue-collar guy because the beard, the bald hair, the bald head. But I've built this niche, and just the middle-aged guy too. I've actually got one of my biggest paying accounts is a business that makes like men's shaping shirts. It's basically Spanx for men. And so they'll pay me and they'll say, hey, man, we need you to put one of these shirts on. And they're so tight. I have to have my wife like help me put it on and peel me out of it. But what it does is just slims you down. It's meant for men with man boobs and bellies. That's basically what they advertise. And they'll have me pretend to do a before and after shot, and I'll like pooch my belly out. I'll drink a lot of water sometimes too before I take the videos. That way my belly's bigger. And I'll do UGC videos. But here's the great thing about tax deductions is I get a lot of videos that ask me to do videos in my truck. I've got a big shiny red Dodge Ram pickup truck. And because I live in the country, right? Got to have a pickup truck on a farm. At least that justified me buying it. But when I use my truck for videos, I log that. And the truck is in my personal name, not the business name. And so I personally rent my truck to my business for me to do a photo shoot. And so it makes a little bit of that tax deductible and takes some of the tax burden off of what I make as a business. So with tax deductions, if you're not sure about something, I always Google search it first just to get a general idea. But always be willing to check with an accountant. Just know that the accountant's almost always going to try to talk you out of anything that is not normal, and not normal sometimes will cost you money. And let's see, Dwayne's asking what was the acronym for? UGC, user generated content. That's actually one of my biggest streams of income right now. See, about 2 weeks ago, I hit a peak. I did about 110 videos in 1 week. And basically, each one of those is a video commercial. And I make, on average, I make about $100 a minute doing those. So, and here's the great thing too. So if I'm doing the UGC videos, that's active income, not passive. But a little extra with that is they want me to demo products and things like that. And like over there on my desk, I've got a big stack of, there's a box over there that's full of, it's got a French press and about 10 bags of coffee in there. And so pretty soon I'm going to be filming an unboxing, and I'll be up in the kitchen filming me making coffee for this company, and I keep all the product. So if I'm making about $5,000 a month doing the videos, getting paid for the videos, usually I come out about 10 grand or double the amount in the product itself. A couple of weeks ago, I had a guy from a jewelry company. He sent me a ring and a watch, and all I did was a 1 minute video with $700 worth of jewelry. And the ring was pretty cool because it was cobalt, and it actually had the inside of it was from recovered World War II gun stocks. And so it was the same kind of rifle that my grandpa carried in World War II. And so I thought that was pretty cool, and I kept the ring. And the watch that they sent me as part of that package that basically I just unboxed it, put the watch on, looked at the camera, and was like, oh, this is so awesome. I really recommend these guys. And that's pretty much it. But the watch actually had a meteorite embedded in the face of it, a little chunk of a meteorite. So that was pretty cool. And I keep all that. Let's see. How did you get into UGC? I do it on a company or a website called Fiverr, Fiverr.com. And that's where I got started and where the bulk of it still comes in. I've branched out some from Fiverr where if I can move the client off of Fiverr, I don't have to pay a commission to Fiverr and I make more money. And so some of my biggest money clients are not on Fiverr, but that's where I found them or where they found me. And so that's where we got started.
Feel free to talk about your course. You have a course that you put together that if anybody's interested in diving into that some more, feel free to, you can post a link or whatever later or give it to me and I'll post it for you.
Okay. Yeah, I filmed a big seminar on that, and because it's a lot of fun. And the great thing about that is people might think, well, Dave, if you try to teach everybody how to do it, they're going to take your business. Everybody's got a niche. I've had people ask me like, hey, I don't look like you, like a outlaw biker or something. I look pretty normal. Can I do that too? And I told him like there's a niche in UGCs for perfectly normal people. There's niches for. I mean, I usually tell people though, if there's something weird about you or something you always thought was wrong, yeah, normies. But if there's something weird about you, you have an even better chance of getting a niche. Because I do a lot of beard products for just hair products for beards. And because of my background, I do a lot of tactical stuff. And here on the farm, I get a lot of videos because I can go out in the front yard and start shooting a gun. And so I'll get a lot of videos where they actually want me to draw from the holster and fire and things like that. And so it's these niches that I've built. And like I said, anything that is weird about you, you can make more money doing that. I've always been, a little unique. I've always been a big boy, and lost my hair when I was young. And my beard used to be a little more red, but I've always had a nice beard. Well, not from birth, but you know what I mean. But I don't mind being weird in that way. I get some clients that want me to wear the kilt, and I'll go outside and wear the kilt and do stuff, and shirtless and swing kettlebells and all kinds of crazy stuff. And so lots of ways to make money. The weirder you are, the more you can make money. Let's see. Oh yeah, so tax deductions. I got off on a tangent, didn't I? So tax deductions, just start a business and look for tax deductions. With the farm, since I've got a farm number and I'm an official farm, there are a lot of things I can deduct as far as tools and things like that that I would buy normally to use around the house, but it's not a house tool anymore. It's a farm tool. And so things I do in the yard, that's all to prep for future crops. And so there are a lot of things. It's just all in the way you explain it. And so tax deductions are a very, very interesting way because it's not money in your pocket, but it saves you money in the long run. And so I consider that passive because, I'm doing something for another reason, but it's like, oh, there's extra money because I'm doing that. Let's see. Oh, here's a tiny little one that makes me about $100 a month that is pretty much completely passive. There's an app called Upside, UPSIDE. It's a gas discount app. And so you download this app, and basically when you go get gas, I mean, you're going to get gas anyway. And so on the app, it'll pull up gas stations near you that honor the Upside app. And in general, you'll get about 10 cents off per gallon for every place that's on this app. And so it generates that money, it puts it in your account on Upside, and I download it back into my bank account when it hits about $100. And so it's completely passive because I'm getting gas anyway. I'm not doing anything extra. All I did was I downloaded the app. When I go get gas, I just have to take a photo of the receipt, and that's it. And that's $100 a month right there. And so easy. Now, some of y'all, if you live out in California, other places, you might make quite a bit more money. Your gas is going to cost a lot more than mine here. I'm not sure how it is for you, Ryan, in Texas. But
about $3 a gallon, I think, maybe right now.
Okay, yeah, $3 a gallon here too. California is probably around closer to 14, 20, 30, maybe. I'm not sure. I hear horror stories from my friends out in California. So much so that it's just kind of the idea that don't look at the gas pump because you got to get it anyway. But that's just a little one, though. I've got a lot of little passive incomes that pay me well, and the big ones that might require a little more maintenance, but I enjoy it. I just enjoy digging into it. All right, so now I tell you what, before I kind of switch topics into a little different, does anybody have any questions about those passive income streams or any of those income streams? All right, we kind of been hitting them as we came
but
up.
If they don't, I just have a quick idea. I just saw the recent email that you sent out about the ton of new opportunities that are in the passive income engines group. And guys, this is not a promotion for you to buy another group. If you're interested in that, let me know. We probably could come up with some type of discount for being an Unleashed member or something. But is there do we have like a list? I could almost imagine a lead magnet that's like, 25, like that one, like I didn't even know the Upside app existed, like things like that. And that are simple like that, very easy to do, all the way up to something like UGC, not so passive. But do we have like a list like that that's like a resource page?
I could put one together. Tell you what, I'll put one together and send it over to you, and you can share it with the group.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I've got my
'Cause I
notes
think
here,
that
so
could be
I'll.
something folks would be interested in, and also just be the guys I'm just talking out loud with him now as a kind of a partner in this, is that, this could be a good lead magnet. Get the top 25. Well, I guess, David, whatever you think might be the most popular.
Yeah.
That's easy, especially easy for folks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And let's see, Dwayne's asking about Hipcamp. Yes, sir. Hipcamp. You spelled it right too, except I think Hipcamp is one word. But hipcamp.com. And yeah, it's just 10 sites mainly, or RV sites, that kind of thing. Dwayne, you're in South Carolina, man. You're welcome to come stay at mine anytime you want. I'll blow the whistle for you while you're out there trying to sleep. Actually, the neighbor. All right, so my house is on a little hill, and you walk down about 100 yards, so it's downhill to the barn, and then there's a neighbor right beside the barn, maybe 50 feet away from my barn is the next neighbor, or at least his fence. And he showed my son some pictures the other day from his trail camera. It was like an 800-pound black bear. And so, yeah, if you come stay at the hit camp, you don't know what you might see. But the bears won't bother you much. It's the skinwalkers that's got to worry about, because you just disappear. Matter of fact, I've got a website set up, a ClickFunnels website for my Hipcamp site, and I'll give the link to Ryan later so you guys can check it out if you want. And feel free to steal any of my stuff. Just steal it, modify it, do whatever. Like my UGC ad on Fiverr, I send people to my account and I tell them, like, hey, just if you're going to get into UGCs, copy and paste my description, change the names, and change it into your niche. I don't mind, because plenty of money out there for us. But the on the website for my Hipcamp, there's actually I've got a little form on there that you can print out to leave with your family, basically saying that if I don't come back, this is where I was last seen. And so I try to scare people before they ever even get here. Oh, Antonio's in South Carolina. Yep. And yeah, Antonio, you're welcome to come up anytime too. Um, your boys can play soccer in the front yard. We got a big field out front. But yeah, it's fun. So let's see where we're. Oh, okay. So I'm going to switch topics kind of a little bit. So not so much passive now, but ways I make things easier, I guess. So I stole this from Travis Peters, a good friend of mine and Ryan's, and it's called Copy Paste Profit. And so what that means basically is I love income opportunities. So I don't consider it passive, because I do have to do some work to create it, but I love creating things that I can use over and over and over. So I just copy it, I write it, I copy it, paste it, and make money. Oh man, like some seasonal allergies or something is killing me. We got walnuts and pecans and stuff coming in, lots of flowers and stuff out. So let's see, any streams dealing with AI. Actually, I'm opening up a new one this week, Dwayne. For those NFTs that my buddy Chris sells, I've been doing the AI art for those. And so it's a yield farming NFT. And so I've created these NFTs that look like businessmen working in the fields. And also there's an old story called Acres of Diamonds. I don't know if you know about the story, but it's basically if some of y'all are probably familiar with it. But basically, this farmer was farming these fields, never could make any money, so he just got mad and sold it. And the next farmer that bought it farmed just a little bit more and found these diamonds. And so I've designed these AI art of these NFTs. It's farmers digging diamonds out of a field, and so that's what the artwork looks like. But so many people love those that people are approaching my buddy Chris saying, I want you to set up an NFT program for us, and I want to pay Dr. Dave to do the art for that. And so that's like a whole new income stream I never even thought of, because I was just doing it for fun, just messing with AI art just to kind of figure it out. And so it's one of those fun things that I'll be able to make some money off of now, and kind of cool. Let's see, deaf blind farmer. What do you think? Deaf blind farmer. That would be hard to do. I'm not sure what you mean about that, though. Do you mean like farm therapy, or something different than that? And because that's actually a really neat value-added niche for farming is farm therapy, dirt therapy, they call it, forest bathing. Let's see, kirasoto, I think is the Japanese term for it, but just people getting out in nature. Horse therapy is a big thing. And so, like I said, you can get a farm number and do farm things without even getting your hands in the dirt.
David,
Dwayne's asking.
that's actually, let me jump in real quick. That's Kelvin Crosby, who I had the pleasure of talking to today on a one-on-one call. Amazing guy. He has a radio show, a podcast, and he calls himself the deaf blind potter. So he does
Okay.
pot. He's blind, and he can I guess he can hear through hearing aids because I'm able to have a conversation with him over Zoom. But he does pottery and talks about his story and does testimonials about how God has changed his life. He has an incredible testimony. One of his
Wow.
dreams, though, is he wants to have a place where people could come and do pottery with him. And he was asking like where he was telling me that he needs a place where there's really good clay in the ground. And I said, well, where in the world is that? Well, we're in the U.S. He mentioned North Carolina, for example, but you're just south of North Carolina. I wonder if there could be a potential partnership with you and him. I don't know what it looks like to bring a bunch of pottery wheels. If that's something that could be done, Kelvin could probably jump in if I know he's at the airport, I think. But I don't know if that would be I just thinking right out loud now. I told him I'd try to make some connections with people I know that have land. So
Yeah.
you're one, you'd be totally open to up for something like this because it would bring people on your land. I bet you could probably charge them to stay
Yeah.
there. He could conduct a class. There's probably some synergy in that.
Oh man, Calvin, that's like agritourism at its best, man. The neat thing is
Oh,
my house.
he said he has the wheels and the kilns. So I don't know
Okay,
if that's
yeah.
Kelvin, I don't know if that's something that's like could be like mobile. Can you bring them in and take them out, or would they have to stay there the whole time? Um, so
The
you
I've
can
got a
answer that.
huge wraparound porch on my house, and I mean, like the one side of the porch that's the widest, you could probably fit 30 people out with wheels and kilns, maybe 10 to 15 people comfortably. But I mean, it
Cool.
would work because we got plenty of water hoses, all kinds of stuff, the kind of stuff
Oh,
you'd need.
cool. Yeah, he
And
says you can make it mobile, so that's awesome.
oh yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
Ryan can give you my email and everything, and feel free
will
to get
do.
in touch with her. The hill that my house is on, I think the entire hill is nothing but red clay. I'm not sure you know more than me. I just know it's red clay that my kids track in the house all the time. But you know more than me if it's something that you'd have to like really work to refine that kind of thing. But man, get in touch with me. You're welcome to come visit anytime and check it out. I
That's
had
so
some old
awesome.
ladies on the farm, and I'll say old ladies. I don't want to be insulting. I mean, they were a lot older than me, but I met them on Facebook in one of those local groups where like what's happening in your town kind of group. And they just did a Facebook post and said, "Does anybody have any land where we can come forage?" And I was curious about what's growing on my property, and I got back in touch with them. Cynthia, yeah, Cynthia, you're probably way younger than these ladies were, so if that gives you an idea. But I got in touch with them, and they came over to my house and spent probably 5 or 6 hours walking around my property in the woods. And they always bring a gift to everybody they come and forage. And so they brought me this big thing of plantain salve, and it's for ant bites, snake bites, burns, that kind of thing. And when they were done, I wish I'd had more time to talk to them because, I mean, they were so knowledgeable, but they were showing me plants and stuff growing around here that I had no idea about. And simple things that I didn't know had medicinal value, like I've got a black willow tree, and the lady was telling me about stripping the bark off of it, boiling it down, and making medicine out of it. And very, very neat. And she gave me a list of things to look for. She said, when these things flower, call me and I'll come back. We'll make some stuff. I'll give you some of it for letting me come. And it was just really neat.
Wow.
And so, yeah, if Calvin wants to come and check out the clay, uh, yeah, we can do something fun with that.
Dwayne had a
And
question
because
above
of the
about Mid
agritourism,
Journey.
we don't have to worry if people get hurt on the kilns or anything.
Sure.
I'm sorry, Ryan, I interrupted you, man. What
I
were you
was gonna say,
saying?
Dwayne had a question above about Mid Journey for your artwork.
Oh yeah. No, I tried Midjourney and didn't like it. I tried Playground, didn't like that one. Canva just came out with a new AI image creator, and I use Canva for all my illustrations and logos, things like that. And my VA uses Canva and then sends it over to me. But I tried them all, And I found that with Mid-Journey, I was never quite pleased with the way it did hands and feet and stuff like that. And with Playground, I played with it quite a bit, and it was weird about almost every time, whether I did animals or people, they had too many legs or too many arms. And, so I don't think AI is going to take over the world soon because it can't figure out that people only have two arms. But I have had the best luck with Canva, using the AI image generator on Canva. I think you do have to have a Canva Pro account, but that's only like $120 a year. And I use it a lot for homeschool. Like my daughter is, my 10-year-old daughter, she's writing a book as part of her language arts curriculum. And it's about a skunk that he's got no friends because he stinks. And so he runs into this unicorn. And so the whole book, though, she is doing all the art for the book using AI art from Canva. And so it's designing the whole book on Canva too. And so that's a lot of fun. Let's see. Copy paste profit. That was where I left off last. And so copy paste profit. Like I'll just give you a for instance. I wrote a book here a while back about the strangest secret, the old Earl Nightingale recording. And so basically all I did was I created this workbook, how to maximize listening to the old Earl Nightingale recording. And so what I did was the first place I always go is I'll publish a book on Amazon. And Amazon KDP, just the letters KDP, I could publish that book right away in print for Kindle, which Kindle isn't just on Amazon. You can use it on any device, hardback and audio. And so this one book, it's copy, paste, repeat. I've got it in 4 different streams of income on Amazon alone. And then I've also got that book listed on Teachers Pay Teachers. It's basically it's kind of like I don't know, like Amazon for teachers only. They'll get on there and buy curriculum, things like that. And so I published it on there. I've got it listed on Etsy. Most of the books I publish I also list on Etsy because it's an automatic download. I set it up. I've already written it, and so I list it in one more place. And there you go. And so that's copy paste profit. Artwork that I create, like I'll create designs for T-shirts. And Ryan here lately, Red, the VA that you sent me, has been doing all the artwork for the T-shirts for me. And I list them on Spreadshirt. And there's also, let's see, Cafe Press. I mean, there's like 100 different websites where you can do print on demand, T-shirts, coffee mugs, tote bags, sweatshirts, caps, basically anything you can wear or drink or eat out of. They'll do print on demand. And so all you do is create this image. My VA does it on Canva, or I'll do it on Canva if it's something I'm just wanting to play with for fun. Upload it to all these sites, and that's a copy, paste, repeat. And just keep doing it over and over.
Can you give us an idea? Like, I'd be curious to know, like, and let me know if this is too personal, like what you might expect to make on some of these sites, or what you might make from the copy, paste, profit method.
Oh yeah, it just depends on the item. I'm the kind of guy that throws a lot out there and sees what sticks. And the great thing is though, it's out there regardless. It may not make a lot right away because I've had some books and things that didn't sell right away, but over time made a lot of money for me. So let's say T-shirts. If I design a T-shirt, my VA did the design for me, uploaded it for me, and everything. If a T-shirt sells for around $30 on that website, I'll make about $4. Which doesn't sound like a lot of money, but I didn't have to do anything for it. The only thing I do really is every now and then I'll post an image of the T-shirt. I do like a T-shirt drop Tuesday in my Instagram, and I'll post an image of the T-shirt. And that's about the most that I do for that. The VA did the rest, and the company sells it. And the great thing about Spreadshirt is if you've monetized YouTube, your Spreadshirt designs will show up under your YouTube video description. And so if you've got YouTube monetized, that's another way that other stream of income ties in. And so that's pretty cool doing it that way. So that's copy, paste, repeat. Books, I'm making more money off audiobooks than anything now, Ryan. If you're not doing Amazon KDP, you may not be as familiar with it, but Amazon recently, they have a beta program now where they'll do the audiobook for you. And so I've always wanted to do audiobooks, but I didn't want to sit down and record it myself. I mean, you hear how gravelly my voice gets at times, and my voice would wear out after one chapter, and I didn't want to pay somebody thousands to narrate it. And so Amazon recently unveiled this program, and they will convert your existing published books to audio for free. And you even get to pick the voice. They have like 10 different voices. It's either a British accent, American accent, male or female. And then there's about 5 different age choices for each. And so for my nonfiction books, there's I don't know, it sounds like a 40 to 50 something male voice with a bit of an accent, not a deep Southern accent, all the way like me, but kind of a bit of an accent. And so that's the one I choose for my nonfiction books. And that's pretty neat. So one of the things I do with that though is every week on my Monday calendar, I've got an item that pops up and it says run a product through the grinder. And that's just what I call it for. I will log into Amazon. That's the grinder for me right now. I'll log into Amazon, find one of my books that's not an audiobook yet, and I'll go through the few steps to convert it. And that's 15 minutes. 15 minutes, and I've converted an existing property into another income stream. And since Amazon owns Audible, uh, I mean, man, they're making a ton of money, and the profits on the books are actually a lot more than what you get for the KDP books, the print books. And so it's pretty cool.
That's wild.
I really
Can you
like
use
it.
AI generated content to create a book in KDP?
It I don't I try not to because they're asking that question when you upload a book now. Did you use
Mm,
AI to generate this? And I'm afraid of
okay.
why they're asking.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't know if they're just trying to get demographics like, hey, 50% of the books are
Yeah.
generated by, but
Or if it's
I'm
against the
afraid at some
rules.
point though that they're probably gonna cut the profits for AI books.
Yeah.
Or they're gonna
Yeah.
screen them more heavily for copyright violations because
Sure.
that's the trouble
Yeah, that
with
makes
AI right now is copyright quagmire all over the board. I mean, I was
mm,
interviewing a music guy the other day that does jingles and stuff like that,
mhm,
and
mhm.
he said there could be like 2 or 3 bars in a song generated from AI inside a whole composition, and it'll get
Uh-huh.
flagged on the music sites because
Wow.
music sites will pick up that those 3 bars in that succession or whatever were on another song that somebody generated by AI,
Oh
and
my
the
gosh.
copyright stuff will kill you on that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bill has a KDP account, hasn't focused on it much. Yeah, focus on that, man, or at least run that through the grinder. Go back. First thing I would suggest is go back in and see if you can do more with the books that you've already got there. Because if you haven't done much with it, you might be able to convert some of them to hardback. Those sell pretty well, and the profit margin is pretty good. And that's the ones I always order for myself too to put on my personal shelf because the hardbacks just look amazing. But the audio right now, audio is hitting it really big, and so if you can convert any of your books to audio, you'll see an increase in the sales right away almost. It's pretty neat. Kirsten saying if you use AI initially and then modify it with with writing, you could probably get away with it. Like if I used AI to generate, I don't know, let's an outline, notes, um, I don't know, just a list of topics, whatever, because I do that sometimes. I'll just plug it in, and mainly because I want the AI to organize it for me, that kind of a thing. That I would be fine with. KDP is fine with, I'm sure. But you can heavily modify the writing. I mean, because you're going to put it in your own voice and all that. But art, it's obvious when it's AI art, because it doesn't matter how well you try to mask it, you can tell it's AI generated. And music, with music, it's going to get picked up real quick by the copyright engines. And so I wouldn't do music or art, but the AI writing you can probably get away with as long as you're modifying it to you. And let's see. All right, the last thing I'm going to mention, and then y'all throw questions at me if you want to, is automate or delegate. I've got a poster on the wall right above my monitor, and it says a couple of things. The first thing it says is, do I have to do this in the office or can I take it outside? Because I want to go out on the porch and work as much as possible. I just like fresh air and I like sunlight. And so I'll take the laptop upstairs onto the porch, work outside. But the second thing it says is automate it or delegate it. And so for me, that's how I move things towards passive income is if I start something, because I start so much junk that I can't do it all. That's why I love giving ideas away because I can't do it all. Maybe sometimes I think, especially with Ryan handing me the streams of income, is I think sometimes God's given me some of these ideas, not for me, but so I can talk about them on the podcast or here and just give them away. And God didn't let me create it so I could make money off of it, but somebody else can.
Yeah.
And
Hey, David,
so,
before we go, let's make sure I'd love to bring up the Idea Factory idea again because Danny is on here and he also was wired that way where he comes up with ideas for people and he said he's got like notebooks full of ideas. Some are probably horrible, but some are probably really, really good.
yeah.
And he doesn't have time to even try them. So I remember when I was on a call with him, I said I was going to connect with you to see if you were still interested in exploring the idea of an idea factory. Guys, all this was if we had like if it would be possible or people would find value in like a website where you could go to see ideas, business ideas, and somebody could say, for example, ooh, that one sounds kind of cool. I want to buy that idea for $100, $500, $1,000. Maybe it was $2,000 and included like coaching from somebody to actually implement the idea. Maybe it was more fleshed out and like, here's the blueprint, here's the VA that can help you launch it. So that was the idea that Dr. David had that he came to me with. And then I got on a call with Danny and he was like, he already has these ideas. So all of you probably have ideas sitting somewhere that you're not doing anything with, probably will never do anything with. Could you potentially make money from them? So we were thinking about creating a website. So that's where was going.
Yeah, Danny, that would be amazing. Because what Ryan's talking about, what I've thought about doing is some of these ideas I'm just going to mention. Like I'll do a podcast on an idea, mention it, talk about it, and basically tell whoever's listening that run with it. And if you make a lot of money, just buy me some coffee someday and meet up and tell me about all your success. Another thing, though, Danny, this might interest you that Ryan was talking about. What I thought about doing with some of these ideas, I'd like to flush them out a little bit. And like Ryan said, flush it out, do a basic business plan. And by basic, I mean like just real basic. Just brainstorm all my ideas onto paper, sell it for $99, and anybody with any hustle could take a $99 idea and make a living off of it if they wanted to. Just I'm not that guy. But Danny, if you ever want to get on a podcast, man, and we could do a podcast and just do nothing but throw out ideas. Like the title of the podcast would be 151 business ideas from Danny. And that would be kind of fun.
Yeah. But Dr. David, if you wanted to explore that further and you really think there's still legs to that idea, I know you've got a million things going on, but I'd be happy to create that website or get a VA to create it. We just have to know, like, if if people would actually be interested in, would people purchase those ideas or not? I mean, like, ideas are cheap. Any of us can come up with ideas, but what would we have to, add a lot of value to it, like coaching, or would we have to do something extra to make it valuable for somebody to spend money on? I don't know.
Yep.
Can I throw something in real quick?
Yeah.
I contacted one business so far, and this newspaper in Michigan, they own, I don't know, 30, 40 print papers. And they're advertising. I see they're always like trying to get salespeople. So I said, obviously the salespeople aren't getting enough ads, more than likely. So I sent an email and a letter to the owner of the distribution. And we talked, and I'm telling you, like, we already came up with some ideas that are going to get him new advertising. Wow. So I don't know if I screwed up or not, but here's what I did. On the smaller ads, I'm going to get $60 per ad. Everyone, like his salespeople, him or whatever comes in from the copy or the ads that I'm writing, my ideas, and then 120 on the bigger ones. Uh-huh. So like I'm kind of like thinking, I don't care if it's $2 or $3 or $4 a month. Then you got a $300 or $400 income stream. Mm-hmm. So what I was thinking, the website might work, but I think you target businesses with a particular idea. Like it's almost like consulting, but you don't really do the consulting. I don't want to do like 50 hours a week consulting or whatever. I would just rather sell them the idea and help them. We could help them get it started or whatever, and then them run with it. Mm. So I think your market is business owners, I believe, but I'm just brand new on this. But one thing that might help the group, and I stole this from a book years and years, several years ago. I was already doing it, but not like now. I just write like I journal in the morning and I write at least 10 ideas a day. Sometimes it'll be 15, 20, 30, but 10 is what I'm shooting for every day. Yep.
Man, you can do a lot with that. Yeah, that's pretty neat approaching business owners because I started doing lectures, like multiple income streams and just insert whatever after the four. And I've been pitching that to different conferences, like farming conferences, multiple income streams for farmers. I was at a martial arts conference last week, and I'm probably going to end up doing some Zoom sessions for these martial arts business owners. They all own dojos. And how can they make money off multiple streams, not just the people signing up to come in and kick and punch each other, which that's fun too. But multiple income streams for whoever. Like my dad, he does construction. I've set up different income streams for him to branch off, and also as he gets older, income streams that aren't so physical. I did a brainstorming session this week with a guy that. And that's one thing I started doing, Ryan, is like a $99 1-hour brainstorming session.
Yeah.
This guy's an old Maytag repairman. And he's getting older. He's in his 60s, but which isn't too old, but he doesn't want to be crawling around on his hands and knees fixing washers and dryers. And so we were brainstorming ways he could take that online with YouTube videos and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And even like DIY appliance repair, where on his YouTube videos, he would have in the description, like, if you want to book a session with me, we'll do a Zoom call and you can actually show me the problem. Like, point your computer at it. I will help you DIY that problem.
Oh, that's so cool.
He can do it from his desk and isn't crawling around on the floor anymore.
Oh, my goodness. That's so cool. I mean, another thing, David, you get people that are interested in that. We could create websites for them. I could easily do that with my Go High Level account. So we could talk more about that if you get businesses.
There's so much we could do.
Oh,
and I see Calvin's got some ideas, 100 deafblind businesses. And Dwayne, he's got a list of T-shirt ideas and stuff. That's what I do, Dwayne. Kind of like you, I've got a file where I've I store ideas for T-shirts, slogans, and then every so often I'll send my VA a list of about 10, and I'll say, just go ahead and make these into T-shirts, list them for me, and it works pretty well.
Yeah. Well, what questions do you guys have? I also want to be respectful of time. If you need to drop off, just drop off. But for those of you that want to hang out a little bit longer, I got time as long as Dr. David does. This is fascinating. I always learn something new when I talk to him, a new idea he's trying out.
Yep. Mike says he crawls around on the ground fixing lawnmowers and tractors. Yep. We need to figure you out some streams.
Reggie wanted to know again the kind of whistle that you blow on your walk.
Oh, it's called an Aztec death whistle. Y'all want me to have one of the kids bring it down and I'll blow it?
Sure. Why not? Yes.
Hey, all right. Let me step away for just a second. I'm gonna scream upstairs at my kids and have them grab it for me.
Oh my Lord. You guys have any questions you can think ahead for him? We can do a little brainstorming if you want, your specific situation, if you want to. If not, no pressure.
All right, one of the kids is bringing it. I keep it in the bathroom right beside my Indiana Jones idol. I've got a replica of the idol from the first Raiders of the Lost Ark movie.
No way.
Yeah, it's actually a movie prop too. A friend of mine gave it to my son. All right, so I got this off Amazon, and so it just looks like a death's head. All right, this thing's really loud. Y'all ready? So imagine that out in the woods at night, and
it didn't completely go, like your microphone like muffled it or something. Try it again.
Anyway,
if it's not waking up your whole house or something. So like it only did the first like half a second of you blowing it.
It doesn't go through well. I tell you what, go on YouTube or something or TikTok or whatever and put that in the search. And the tech and probably this my microphone is probably blocking it out.
Yeah.
It's scary at night though. And guaranteed to attract the skinwalkers. And so a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh.
So, UGC videos, John said he Googled something and I didn't pop up on the video, but if you do some, depending on what you search for online, you may see some of my videos sometimes. I've done a lot of ads for like tactical stuff, erectile dysfunction medications, because the middle age thing, and the scripts are like married. It's not risque or anything. It's like talking about married stuff. And but I hit that age and I make a ton of money and keep all the product. I like it. I enjoy it because I get to keep a lot of stuff I would never buy myself. All right. Anybody got any other questions? Ingrid said she's interested in the Amazon beta. Yeah, or if you're on KDP, go find your listings on the KDP site, and where it says Kindle print hardback, where you can do each one, audio should show up as an option now. Mike says, how do you come up with your book ideas? The book ideas, I don't know, I just get a ton of ideas, and I'll actually republish a lot of public domain books. For instance, I'll go buy an old military manual, or use some of mine, and I'll break it apart. Like, let's say I've got a 300-page book on survival, and survival out in the woods, and I'll break that apart and into chapters and publish books of several chapters. I'll use some of the artwork and make T-shirt designs. So a lot of the ideas. I've got some creative ideas that I came up with on my own, but I republish a lot of stuff, public domain stuff. Anybody that familiar with the Anne of Green Gables series? I always liked that growing up, and I like the old show. The new Netflix one I didn't care that much for, but I republished the first Anne of Green Gables book as Vikings. And so it was basically it was set in Scandinavia, and I redid the whole thing as Vikings. And so Anne and the old couple that she's living with, they have to worry about raiders and stuff like that. But it was public domain material. I rewrote some of it. How do you find public domain books? That's a good question. So anything that is made by the government, for the most part, you're going to find a few things that maybe the government printed somebody else's stuff, but any government material is public domain. In other words, it's considered that your tax dollars paid for it, and so there's no copyright. You can do anything you want with it. Anything right now, I think 1929 is the cutoff. Anything published before 1929 is public domain. Which, interestingly, last year, I think it was last year, the original Steamboat Willie that Mickey Mouse came from went into public domain, and there've already been some horror movies made where Steamboat Willie's killing people. The year before that, the original Winnie the Pooh books, and so I mean the original because, for instance, Tigger was a new character and was made years later from the original Winnie the Pooh, so he's not public domain. But the original Winnie the Pooh stuff is public domain. And it's kind of funny. There's a horror movie called Blood and Honey where Winnie the Pooh, Christopher Robins went off to college and just left them to fend for themselves. And they went cannibal and started attacking each other and stuff. And so I like horror movies, but it's a really funny, neat way to use public domain material and can't nobody say anything about it. How do you find them? So like I said, if you're curious about something, just see what the original copyright was. For instance, the first 5 Hardy Boys books are public domain now. I think the first 5. And he wrote a couple a year. And so every year, so in January, what I do every January, the list comes out of what just became public domain on January 1st, 2025. And you'll find lists, a lot of times the colleges publish them. And so you'll find lists and lists of songs, movies, books, cartoons, advertisements, things that go public domain that year. And so you can just search something up and say, is this public domain? I republished the first Hardy Boys book as if the 2 detectives were sisters instead of brothers. And so it's the Hardy Girls. And didn't do it woke feminist or anything. They're just 2 very tomboyish girls that, like a lot of the things the Hardy Boys did. But it's a little harder for the girls to solve mysteries because people don't take them seriously. And so, but it was all public domain. I basically went through and just changed a lot of the pronouns. I changed the names a little bit so it sounded more feminine, but it was a fun rewrite. And so, I can do that kind of thing in a week. I can take the book, tear it apart, rewrite it, and publish it in a week. And that's just kind of fun for me. Let's see. Is there a go-to website for children and teens that want to start a business? I'm sure there are. I don't know of any though. Um, I kind of take my kids through the same thing I do. Like my little girl, she's 10 and she's wanting to train dogs. And see Calvin, I don't see Calvin on here. I should have said this while he was still on here, but we're training a guide dog. The company that Southeastern Guide Dogs, um, they do guide dogs and send them to people, service animals. And so what happens is people like us will take them for the first 18 months and do the initial training. And so we're doing commands, housebreaking. We start up all the training, and then we take them back to the center for Guide Dog College. And so she's wanting to start a guide dog service, or not a guide dog service, but a dog training company. And so at 10, we're already buying her domain name. She's building herself, and it's all homeschool too. And so part of the copy, paste, repeat, I like doing one thing that accomplishes 20 things. And so she is designing a logo for her business called The Dog's Heart. That's going to be her dog training business name. And it's homeschool, but it's also her business logo. Today, I filmed my son's first YouTube video for his guitar business. He repairs guitars. My 13-year-old does. And so we're launching his YouTube channel next week. And it's homeschool plus it's business. He's already got clients that are paying him to rebuild guitars. And so that's pretty cool.
Did you check out? Dwayne had a question above. I don't know if we got to that. Maybe I was typing a question back or answer back. But any ideas about tech consulting, setting up automations for local businesses, Salesforce?
Yeah, that would, as a consultant, that would be an active income, definitely an active income source. But yeah, I'm thinking too, because my dad, I'm thinking older generation family or small business construction, because I kind of have a heart for that myself. That's one thing I did for my dad, was setting him up with a website, Facebook, putting all of his books into QuickBooks and stuff like that. And the VA that Ryan sent me, she actually does the social media for my dad's construction business. And I mean, there is a big business there. And Ryan has contact with VAs. I mean, a lot of this stuff, I mentioned automate or delegate. I'll start up a lot of things, but once I'm happy with it, I'll get in touch with my VA and I'll say, can you do this for me? And to be honest with you, she always says yes, and she usually does it better. She's especially graphics and social media. She is so much better than me.
Dwayne's question also, did you say there was a specific place to go for finding public domain things?
No, I just Google it. January 1st every year, unless it's on a Sunday, I'll do it, Monday or whatever. But January 1st every year, all the colleges and places like that have big libraries, the Library of Congress, places like that, they'll publish lists of all the new public domain stuff. And so you can actually, a lot of times, I think Cornell might be the one I usually end up going to, which it's probably cornell.edu, but I always just Google it. But if you can find the web page for the current year, which, January 1st, 2025, here in about 6 months, no, less than that. But you can also find links to the previous years. And so there you've got reams and reams of public domain material. And then if it's public domain, all you have to do is Google that thing. I usually Google like the Hardy Boys. I think it was Tower Treasure was the first one. Hardy Boys Tower Treasure PDF. And that's what I Google. And I'll grab a PDF of the book. If it's public domain, it's online. And Google's probably listed it on their Google Books. But all you got to do is grab that PDF, convert it to a doc, and then you can rewrite it and do up a neat new cover, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's so much easier than a lot of people don't tell you how easy it is, but it really is. The military manuals, I love scouring antique stores and stuff, and I'll buy those up. I'll pay my son to scan those in. And guess what? For scanning, I'll pay him to scan them, but guess what? That's a computer technology class for homeschool. And so he scans them, formats them, that kind of thing. So it's pretty neat.
Any other questions, guys, or specifics to your situation that you want to brainstorm? What do you, when you're in a group of people and, like, let's say your five top easiest passive income ideas that are pretty stinking passive, what do you say? Obviously, I know tonight you mentioned in Fundrise and Lofty, those would probably be in the list. Sounds like Upside might be in that
Yeah.
list. Uh,
I'd say Fundrise, Lofty, Upside, the crypto HODL. That's the easiest thing to do. Crypto yield farming, it's a little more work. Like you actually have to learn how to do the crypto wallets and things like that.
mhm.
Um, that's what I would say is the easiest. And yeah,
Yeah, that yield farming stuff, I don't know. Or you're doing the NFT stuff with
mm,
Chris. Um, he actually has a program where he'll manage the farm for you. I actually have, and I don't talk about this, guys, because I've just started like playing around with it, but I've been in for over a month, and it's been the most reliable income in the crypto space that I've ever seen. Now, David, you run that group essentially. Do you feel like that's the safe? I mean, you have to realize the values can go up and down, and that can be a little bit unnerving. But even when like last week when the market tanked, that's the day I made the most money
yep,
because of the fees. And so my US dollar value of my portfolio went down, and it's still a little bit down compared to when I first started. But essentially, I'm making transaction fees. Do you feel like that's of everything that's in passive income engines that's crypto based? Do you feel like that's like one of the best ones?
yeah, absolutely. And Chris, I've known Chris long enough that I trust him. But better than that,
Mhm.
I think, is that he's putting my money in the same farms that his money is in. And
Right,
I know because
exactly.
he is on a path to retire this year,
Oh,
and
he quit
just
his job because of this, guys. And I can probably, yeah. So it's basically it's yield farming, and I'll type it in here. If you want to do more research about it, we could even probably get Chris into this group to talk about it. But essentially, he explained it to me like this. You guys know when you go to an airport and you're traveling and you can, or and you exchange your money. You got USD and you're trying to turn it into euros or whatever Japanese yen if you're going to Japan. Well, you look on your phone and it may say for every US dollar you're going to get 85 cents in euros because the exchange rate. Well, you go to the place and you give them your money, they may offer you a rate of like 80 cents, so it's less. And the reason why, they have to make money, they have fees. And so in the crypto world, if I want to, and David explain, if there's anybody else here that knows better than me, feel free if I butcher this, but essentially they're also these um, these exchange stations. Essentially, it's not the right word for it, where I can take Ethereum and I can exchange it for something else, but there's a fee involved with doing that. If I own that business, if I own the exchange booth, I have to have money in that cash register. I have to have Ethereum. So in the real world, I have to have USD. I have to have some euros. I have to have some British pounds in this. So I need cash in there. Well, in the crypto world, you can own one of these exchange booths and you provide the liquidity. So you're opening up. I'm open for business essentially, and I have Ethereum, I have Arbitrum, I have these other currencies, and I'm providing liquidity in exchange for that. When somebody comes along to my booth and they exchange money, I get the fees. That's a very simplified way of explaining it. And so when I put, let's say, $1,000 into this liquidity pool, then all the transactions that happen between, let's say, when people are exchanging Ethereum and Solana, for example, I will get a portion of those fees for the day. So let me just put this in real world terms. If I had like just in on that, like right now, I'll just tell you the numbers. Either in my USD value, there's like $16,000 in there that I've put up. Now I put up more than that, but the value's dropped in the last week. Over the last few days, it's not been as good, but yesterday I made like $88 completely passively just in the fees. On the day the market tanked, I made 400 and some dollars in that one day because of all of the people selling. And so when they sell, there's fees still. And when they buy, there's fees. So I win no matter what. Now it is a little unnerving to go into my account and see that I put in, I think it was like 20 something. Now it's like 16 something that's in there. But I don't lose, I'm not losing any of the actual tokens. The value of the tokens just went down. So when it goes back up, it's going to be nice again. But it matters, but I'm still making money in the fees no matter what. Did I do a good job of explaining that?
Yeah.
David?
Yep. And I mean, when the market's good, your coins appreciate, and when the market's down, you're
Yes,
still
and
making
you choose
those
the
fees.
tokens. Now, Cynthia, I don't know much about all this, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know the details, so I just pay Chris to run the farm for me. And so he takes a cut for running, because you have to manage, like, be in range. You have to, I can't explain that part of it, but he manages the farm. What Dr. David was talking about is you can be involved in these farms just by saying, "Hey, Chris, here's $1,000," and it goes into a larger pool with a bunch of people, and he farms with that larger pool of money, and everybody that's in that pool will get paid out according to what they put in. So,
I guess thinking about it that way, the way I do the NFTs and everything, it's kind of like a mutual fund versus
yes,
day trading. Like Chris
exactly.
day trades. He spends a lot of time basically day trading crypto. I just bought the mutual fund, and it's invested in
Yes.
Chris's money.
That's a great way to explain it. But he actually, because of this being so predictable, now it's up and down. The values can go up and down, but the fees are, you're going to get fees. Now, he's been averaging around 15 to 20% return per month. He had a job at Whataburger in corporate down in San Antonio, and he's been doing this for a while now. And he built up his portfolio enough that he was confident enough to quit his job doing this. So as long as you're okay with the volatility of crypto, it's a good thing to look at. And it's been fun to see the
Yeah.
passive income. I mean, it's very passive for me, extremely passive. I do have to go on there and set up my Spritz wallet to bring the money into my bank account, but I don't do any of the work at all of it.
Yeah. I mean, basically, that's the same as just withdrawing it. I mean, take your
Yep,
money home.
exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
Danny was asking if I sell physical stuff other than print on demand. I do a few things. I mean, like the print on demand sites, I think most of my t-shirt designs are on like 40 different products. And so you can sign up and you can buy everything from, kids onesies to tote bags, coffee cups, t-shirts, whatever. But I still do the traditional eBay and everything too. I'm a comic book nerd. That's how, like, my undergrad college I paid for by selling my childhood collection. And I still like to pick up comics at garage sales and things like that. And then I'll resell them on eBay. And so that's kind of a
Mm,
fun thing for me, though, because I just like buying comics. I'm a big nerd with all that.
mm, that's awesome. Well, guys, any other questions? I don't want to keep you if you're ready to go, but this can be a fun topic and happy to
And I'll
hang
put
out for a few
together a
more
list
minutes.
for Ryan to give everybody of
Yeah, that'd be
some of my
awesome.
favorite streams of income.
Absolutely. Yeah, another thing to think about too is you guys are building your businesses and when you're just building whatever you're trying to do here. It doesn't have to be where, and David can talk about this too, like where you're trying to go into, like, Cynthia, you have a coaching business. There are obviously ways to build multiple streams of income from that one niche. Like it's not like where you have to go and you do life coaching, but on the side you've got a lemonade stand over here that you're working on the weekends. It's nice if you can make it kind of mold together with your niche, and that's what he was talking about with his dad. He's got the construction business, and he found ways for his dad to earn extra streams of income from that same, either the property or whatever his assets he has there. That's what he's doing with his property. He's already living there anyway. Turn it into a Hipcamp. That's extra income. So it's not like way off base. And you can make it totally within the niche that you're already going into. And it's just multiple ways of doing it.
Oh yeah, yeah, Cynthia. I mean, coaching, printables is a really neat thing with coaching a lot of times because I create a lot of forms and things like that for when I coach, brainstorm, that kind of thing, and create the form on Canva, and next thing you know, you can combine 100 of them into a book and sell that on Teachers Pay Teachers and Etsy and some other places. You could sell it like a DIY coaching manual.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And David, another idea to plant in your head. Any of these books that you think that are in the public domain that might do really well in a different language, feel free to talk to me, because we could do a Spanish version of some of these books, or if there's another language. I do have some hard costs in that. I'd have to pay Buddy, who was actually on here a little bit earlier, does all of that for me. So I have to pay him. And there's a piece of software that I get charged for usage. So if it's a really big book, might cost a couple $100 to try it. But if there's something very popular you think this will be a fairly good chance of this being a winner, we could always partner up and do translation. So just let me know about that. Cool. All right, Danny's asking, do you suggest selling physical products you have passion for, or anything that profits well, that has good profits?
I stick to passions because if I'm not careful, I'll try to get into everything. And comic books, I know well enough that I know how to increase the value in the way I list it, the way I talk about it. And so you're not going to catch me getting into coins or stamps or other collectibles, although the desire has been there. I know better. So I stick to passions when I deal with physical stuff.
That's good. I think Danny's typing something else. He's got his cell phone. You can unmute too if you guys. We got a small enough crowd. You can unmute if you want to talk.
Yeah, Mike, you sent a message to me, but you meant it for David, I think.
Oh, was that the one about the chickens?
Yeah, you got it?
Okay, he resent it to me. Yep.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, Mike's going to get me set up with some chickens.
Awesome. Go ahead, Danny.
Yeah, why I asked about the passion product, I used to sell a lot on eBay. And now really I buy and sell instruments, and I thought about doing that because I love like basses and stuff. And I've been trying to think of multiple, I play. So I've been thinking of multiple ways I could make streams of income playing. Like one thing I did was by accident, I sent a friend a birthday rocked up version of Happy Birthday to You. And like she played it for like so many people and like got so much feedback. I'm just thinking like he mentioned, I think it's called Fiverr. Is that what it was?
A lot of people sell that kind of stuff on Fiverr.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I'll take, I'd have to be careful on copyright, but I'll take like like Bonanza theme and put it to heavy metal, and like totally transform it and people really enjoy it. So.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I got started on Fiverr selling shower videos. From the waist up, everything, proper. But people would pay me $5 to say, and most often it was people saying happy birthday to their moms. They would have me, I would soap up the beard and everything, and I'd be in the shower, water all over me, and I'd say, happy birthday, mom. And then they'd send that to their mom. And that's how I got started. And went from $5 shower videos to the UGC videos now. But yeah, Danny, you could, a heavy metal niche. Like I always tell everybody, especially Fiverr, niche as much as you can. And so offering to do heavy metal versions of different stuff. And as far as copyright goes, it's kind of up to them how they use it. If you're just sending it to them, you probably wouldn't get in trouble for that. If they post it on YouTube, YouTube's going to flag them, not you.
Yeah, because I play on a worship every Sunday, and I'll even take traditional worship music. And me and the drummer, he looks a lot like you. He's a big guy, beard. Just looks like it. And we rock it up a little bit. We'll take it and change it just a little bit, and they seem to like it. So.
Yep. There's some couple of young black guys I follow on TikTok that they do old school hymns, heavy metal. It's just a drummer and a guitarist, and they do them real funny though, and so it's pretty cool. Me and my kids like to listen to them.
And speaking of passion, I hang around a lot of musicians, and those guys will go without eating to buy the guitars and stuff. Like it's like fishing or hunting. So, there's a good money there because well, like your son plays. So if there's a guitar he's got his eye on, sooner or later he'll get it.
Oh yeah, there's a multi-$1,000 guitar he's got his eye on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. See you, Cynthia.
Thanks for joining us.
See you, Cynthia.
Yeah, guys, this is a much longer episode.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for being on with us. But I don't want to cut it short if anybody has questions.
I hate to leave, but
no, it's all good.
But thankfully it's recorded. The whole thing will be recorded, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. I want to thank you guys, though.
Yeah, of course, Danny. Thanks for being on with us.
Yeah, awesome.
Antonio, thanks for hanging out with us. It's your son's soccer practice.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Love you too, brother. Cool. Dr. David, thank you, man. This has been so fun. I appreciate it. You're always welcome.
And anybody
back.
in your group, I mean, you've been so good to me, Ryan. I mean, all your people are welcome to get in touch if they have questions or anything.
Okay.
And if they want to be on the podcast.
You're in my group. I put you in just because I wanted to, selfishly for you to be a resource. So he's also in the group. You can tag him in there. He's in 500 other groups, so he might not be like super active in ours, which is totally fine. But we'll have him on as often as you guys want him, and just feel free to ping him, or we can post his email too.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to, as far as a group call, we could always just like one person kind of be on the hot seat, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And because I find if one person has an idea and we all sit and brainstorm it, I mean, we could get some amazing ideas that some of y'all would be able to steal for other stuff too.
That would be super fun. I would be interested in joining that and being a part of that. Those are fun calls for me to do too. Oh, cool, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being on tonight.
Hey, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I really do. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some nuggets out of that. They're going to make you incredibly wealthy, and not just that, but happy. Time freedom and money freedom. I mean, the biggest things that those give us is happiness and just the ability to serve God the way God wants us to, instead of being hampered and just shackled by debt and things like that. So I told you in the intro that I would tell you what was off with me. Some of you might have guessed. I was sick, like deathly sick. I had some kind of a flu, summer bug. I don't know, but we did that recording. It was about 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it was in the evening, and I had been working all day, been doing all kinds of stuff all day, and been to my son's football practice, and had the flu for several days. And I was running about 103 temperature the whole time I was on there. So maybe if you watch the YouTube version, you could tell, because I was more red than normal. And my voice was way off. Sounded like I was chewing gravels, and or the frog in my throat or something. So if you guessed Dave was sick, you were correct. That was it. But I really enjoyed doing it. So I hope you enjoyed it too. And so be sure to come on back, check us out again, and stay tuned for more episodes of Season 2 of the Streams of Income podcast, hosted by me, Dr. David Powers. And y'all take care.